Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I am doing a 5 things sort of video that you may not know about me. And these are things that I don't think I've ever spoken about on my channel, and if I have not gone super in depth into them, so that's what we're doing today. It has been a minute since I have filmed in this space, and I'm feeling it, and I feel like a real beauty YouTuber with the candle lit in the back, you know what I mean? Hey. So I had to write down these things because I'm not an interesting person, so I didn't want to actually forget about something. Yeah. I also have chips. I love snacks. But yeah, that is what we are doing today, and if you would like to see, or I guess hear, 5 things that you probably don't know about me, make sure you keep watching. So, first thing is I have 1 kidney. Weird, I know. So most people, when they find out, they ask, there's a bug on my mic. He was alive. I don't know how he got up there. It was just something, yeah, it's fine. So people will ask me, oh, what happened to your other kidney? I just wasn't born with it. Don't know why. I have my right kidney, I believe, and I just wasn't born with my left kidney. So when I was younger, I went to the doctor and my mom took me, and I can't remember what I was there for originally, but it called for an ultrasound of my, no, let me back up. So the doctor, maybe I just had an upset stomach or something, because the doctor was examining my stomach, and he heard something that wasn't normal to hear, I guess. So then okay, aunt, gotta go. So whatever he heard, I guess it wasn't, routine, and it wasn't normal, so he decided that an ultrasound, I think it was a he, I don't really remember this time of my life, but he in my head, that's what I've imagined, decided to ultrasound my stomach and, my back, I'm assuming, because that's where my kidneys are, I don't really know, and then that is when we realized that I was only born with 1 kidney. My mom has volunteered my little sister to donate a kidney to me if I ever need it, because she is the same blood type as me, so thanks. Second thing, this one is going and creeping down the path of a little bit more of a serious topic, which I do but don't talk about on my channel. I usually keep it about makeup mostly. So I have some insecurities. I don't know somebody who isn't insecure. It is a normal thing, and I'm not saying I am different just because I have insecurities. It's just, I don't really feel like that's something that I portray. I really keep it to myself, and I don't think that even people that are super close to me know that I have these insecurities as well. But I just, for my height, which is 5'2", and I weigh probably 100 in the 25 to 30 pound realm. I carry weight differently than somebody who even a couple inches taller than me would carry. So I'm very insecure about my stomach, and I know that I'm not, but I have it in my head that I think I'm fat, and I get really self-conscious when clothes are too tight on me, or when pants don't really fit me the way that I want them to, or when I'm in a bathing suit, and that's something that I've kind of been trying to get over. I was really insecure about my thighs, and I have stretch marks, and I have a butt, I have hips, I have thighs. My boobs are not proportional to all of me, which stinks, so I'm insecure about that. But I was really insecure about my thighs, and when I would, sit down and my thighs, are naturally spread, I was like, ooh, those are not cute. But I've kind of gotten used to them, and I actually quite like my legs. But my stomach, I'm just really insecure about my stomach, and I don't think a lot of people realize that, or a lot of people know. I just don't voice it that much to anybody. I was just talking with somebody the other day, and I was talking about, how I didn't feel good, or just feel good in my skin or something like that. And they were like, oh, but you're really skinny. And I'm like, I wish I had that same perception. I think some of it for me is just the way that I dress. I don't wear tight clothes. But I want to do something about it, but I'm also kind of lazy, so I guess I'm not that insecure. But when summer comes around, like the weather that we're in now, and it's bikini season, I am kind of like, I wish I was thinner. Now, on the flip side of that, I don't want to be, you know, railroad thin. I don't want to be skin and bones. I want to have curves still. I just want to be healthy and comfortable, you know, and I think that's all that anybody really wants, is just to be healthy and comfortable. And again, I'm not special because I have this insecurity. I'm sure that most women and maybe men have the same insecurity. I'm just saying, maybe you didn't know that I had this. That's all I'm saying. And maybe you have it too and you can relate and you can give me some like tips on just how to get the F over it. So this next thing is still even deeper into that more serious realm, and I feel like a lot of people talk about this on YouTube, and I think that that is very, 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 very wonderful. I just don't want people to get the wrong impression and think that I'm hopping on a bandwagon just to be like everybody else, or just to, you know, say that this is part of my life. But I do feel like I have very bad anxiety. Now, I have kind of a different, I don't know if other people do, way of thinking about anxiety. And I feel the same way about like crazy people. I think that everybody on both circumstances have that in their head. I think that everybody has anxiety, and I think that everybody has that craziness within them as well. I think that what makes you anxious, what makes you crazy, what makes you those things is like how you act on it. So I think, okay, I will sit there and think, oh wow, on my trip to the Bahamas, what if this plane crashes and dies? And like, I start to get a little freaked out about it, you know. But I have a friend who is deathly afraid of flying, and as soon as that's in her head, that is in her head. You know what I mean? So I think that your level of anxiety is how you act upon those thoughts. You with me? So I will think, wow, it would be really crazy if, you know, my boyfriend and I got in a fight today and I'm on my way to work and I die, and like, that is the lasting impression. And then, you know, as the day goes on, I kind of forget about it. So that's where I think like people with a lot more anxiety than I have, or a lot more anxiety about that specific topic that I'm feeling, would just dwell on that and think about that all day, and you know, it would really bother them and really just feel them out a little bit. Where I feel that my anxiety comes into play, it's about like real danger in my home. And I think most of my anxiety comes around my home, and that is my safe space. I am 100% an introvert. I am not an extrovert at all. I'm great being on my own. So when that is threatened, you know, my safe space, which is my home where I'm an introvert at, could be or is threatened, then I start to feel anxious. So I become very anxious about the door being unlocked, about the stove being left on, about a spark happening when a cord is plugged into the wall. I have anxiety about my coffee pot staying plugged in. I have anxiety about when people are in my house too much, and people are either like staying over the weekend, or you know, I like to relax, especially on the weekends, so I like to do that in my underwear in particular, and that's my safe space. That's how I feel comfortable. And when people are over, you know, I'm not able to do that, and I start to feel anxious about that. And I used to be a lot worse. I've gotten used to it. My boyfriend has made me get used to it because he is an extrovert through and through. I think that's why we work well together. So he'll, you know, not all the time, but he'll have friends over. They will stay the night. And I used to get really overwhelmed about it. I would, you know, become very upset when I would come home and people are there and I just wasn't expecting them. And I would go to the room and, you know, then you'd be like, well, why are you just doing that? And I'm like, I just need some time to relax, and that's just what I need. Or I feel very anxious. I'm not a pleasant person. I am a little bit, you know, snappish, and I feel uncomfortable, and I don't like feeling uncomfortable in my own home. But also on the flip side, you know, the stove, that is a huge one. I used to be a lot worse than what I am now, but when I was living on my own especially, that's when it was really bad. I would have to check and check and check, and it sounds almost like slightly OCD, but I would just have to check it so many times. Or when I would leave my house, I would have to check the door a certain amount of times, so then a couple hours from now I can remember, I checked the door handle 4 times. I know that it's locked, Danielle. I would have times where my friend and I, we would hang out, we would just drive around the town, and I would start to feel a little anxious about my door being unlocked. I couldn't remember how many times I checked it. We would have to go back, check the door to make sure that it was unlocked, and then go about, you know, driving around. And now I'm not so bad. Sometimes I will have those moments where I'm super, super rushed, and I'll leave, and I'll have to turn around and come back and make sure that my door is locked and make sure that the stove is turned off. And I can't. I literally, like, I can't handle that being in my brain. I have to come back no matter how late I am. Like, I gotta turn around, come back, check it. Or I'll get to my car and I'll be like, did I lock the door? Because I'm in such a rush and I can't remember actually physically locking the door. There's been maybe like one time that I left the door unlocked. I've left the stove on maybe one time. There was one time a while back when I lived with my roommate in Columbus. I could have sworn, and they never really confirmed if I did or didn't, but I could have sworn that I left the stove on. So I called my landlord. I asked them, please, can you go into my apartment? You have permission. I just need you to go check that stove. Because I was at work, so I couldn't do anything about it. And they did, and they were like, well, they at least told me they did. And that made me feel better, and I was like, okay, anxiety's gone. So that is the kind of anxiety that I deal with when it comes to my home. I will think about planes crashing. I will think about getting in a wreck. I will think about, well, I'm kind of like near a prime location that somebody would drop a bomb. And I'll think about those things and I'll kind of like, it'll go out of my head. So I don't think that I have very, very severe anxiety. And like I said, it's gotten a lot better than what it was. So I think it's just a product of my surroundings and how I handle those thoughts. And if I don't let them dwell too much in my mind, then they don't affect me too much. But when it comes to my door unlocked and my stove on, I'm like, no. Like, my boyfriend will make fun of me. I'll be like, can you make sure I turn the stove off? And I'll be like, yeah. And then sometimes he'll mess with me. It's not good. This kind of slides into anxiety. And reflecting back on my life, when I had my first place and I was 19-ish, 20 at the time, and I lived on my own, I really, truly, self-reflecting, just remembering the past, think that I had depression. And depression is a very serious thing. I think people that don't understand depression and don't understand where that mind frame is don't get why people feel depressed. They don't understand why they can't get over it. They also ultimately don't understand why their depression potentially leads to suicide. And I also feel that those people who have not experienced it cannot understand it. I mean, you can sympathize as much as you want, but you cannot empathize. So sympathize is when you feel bad for somebody and you feel that sadness for them. Empathize is when you have gone through it and you feel it with them. And I think that is really what makes things different when it comes to anxiety, when it comes to depression, when it comes to suicide. Now, I am not in whatever shape or form ever saying or trying to allude to the fact that I have been suicidal, because I have not. I think that I had, in my past, a very mild depression. And I think that because I would wake up, go to work, come home, take off my work clothes, put on my PJs, get in bed, watch TV, fall asleep, wake up, go to work, come home from work, take off my work clothes, put on my PJs, lay in bed, watch TV. And that is the bulk of my Monday through Friday life. Now, typically, I guess Sunday through Thursday, sometimes Friday, but you know what I mean. And I worked at 6 a.m. and I would get off at 2:30, 2 o'clock. And that's what I did. So from 2 until like probably 11, 12, because I'm a night owl, that I would lay in bed. I would eat in bed. I would watch Netflix on my laptop in bed. I would be in bed all day. So then I started seeing this guy, and on the weekends that created me to be a little bit more social, but typically throughout the week, that was my life. And looking on that now, I really think that I was suffering from slight anxiety, slight depression, And I'm glad that I got out of that. I'm glad that I ended up moving to Columbus and finding people in my life, and then ultimately started dating my boyfriend. And I think that really helped out. The guy that I was seeing, I mean, it's 100% not his fault, but he was not the best person for me, and it was not what I thought that it was. I thought that it was more, and it wasn't. And I think that kind of cultivated some of that depression as well. But it's kind of scary, you know, when you think, and I've watched 13 Reasons Why, not that that's a perfect depiction of suicide, and I've had a friend, you know, that has ultimately taken their life, and it's made me self-reflect a lot. And it's made me self-reflect on myself and things that I'm doing or that I have done at least, or things in my life, or things that happened, and thinking, wow, I really think that I went through that phase, and I'm so glad that I could organically come out of it, and that it didn't affect me the way that it unfortunately does for others. But I wholeheartedly believe that if I probably hadn't moved to Columbus, if I hadn't gotten out of that weird relationship, I don't know what to call it. You know, ultimately, my roommate that I lived with and I do not talk. We're not friends. We're not, you know, it is what it is. We were friends for a while. That cultivated me being more social and me meeting people, and I ended up meeting people on my own and being more social, which essentially is what I was lacking before I moved to Columbus, and that's what got me out of that depression state. But had I not, I worry what it could have led to, and I'm very fortunate that it didn't go down that path, you know. So again, like, not trying to insinuate, not trying to give myself attention or make it any bigger than what it is, but that's just something that happened in my life that you probably don't know about. And then last but not least, to make things a little brighter, this is that I can't wait. Oh, and ultimately, may I say, like, doing these videos has helped me immensely with my attitude in my life, and like being a little weird and being my true self and being a little bit more outgoing. I'm just saying, you guys have helped me as well. So thank you for that. And if I know that if I ever go through one of those stages again, that you guys will totally be there for me. Even though you weren't there for me during that. Like, you would have been. You would have been if I was making videos, you know? Man, I wonder what would happen if I made videos back then. Anyways, this last fact that you didn't know about me is that I love popping zits. I literally love it. It is one of the, you know, lightest things that I've talked about this 5 things. But I definitely love popping zits. I am secretly sad that I don't have more breakouts. Like, my back used to break out, my chest would break out, I would have more on my face. And I'm kind of sad that I don't have those anymore because I don't have zits to pop. Struggle of having clear skin. But no. So I have, like, you guys should probably be able to tell. I have these bumps on my skin, and I think that they are ingrown hairs, but they act like zits, so that's really cool. So I can sit there for hours and just pick at my arms. I have the same type of bumps on my legs too. Sometimes those ingrown hairs are just down there, and I pick at those. I pick at whatever I can on my face. I try to convince my boyfriend to let me pop his zits. Like, I love popping zits. I like watching Dr. Pimple Popper, any sort of zit popping video. I am here for it because I love it, and it really relaxes me. Like, watching the videos are super relaxing to me. People find them gross, but I'm like, give me. But I can just sit there and, like, when I'm feeling a little anxious or when I'm feeling like a little get away from me, I will pop at my arms, even if there's nothing good, which I don't get a lot of good ones. Sometimes I get some, like, good ass blackheads on my arms. I'm like, and I can just do that, and my arms will be all scabbed up and red, and I won't give a bleep. I didn't just cuss, I just said it. And yeah, I literally love it. It's just so relaxing to me, and it is a nice little relaxation thing that I do. It's gross, but I don't care. So that is everything for this video. There are 5 things that you probably didn't know about me that you do now, and I am glad that you know, even if you think I'm a freak. But that's okay. We're allowed to be freaks on my channel. Okay. Got it back. But if you liked this video and you want to learn more about me, then make sure that you hit that thumbs up button and hit that subscribe button. And make sure you also hit that notification bell, because if you don't, you won't see my videos. So that stinks. So turn it on. But that is everything, and I will see you guys next time. Bye, guys!